Welcome to X Corner. I'm here to add a little mutation to the Superhero Crew. I'll be covering the X comics for the week of February 20th, 2019. This week we have 3 comics. Age of X-Men, The Amazing Nightcrawler #1, Return of Wolverine #5, and Uncanny X-Men #12. Spoilers, of course. We'll start with Age of X-Men, The Amazing Nightcrawler #1, written by Shannon McGuire and art by Juan Fergiri. This is a day in the life of the world-renowned superstar Nightcrawler. We start with him and Megan filming a movie. Afterwards, Kurt relaxes in his dressing room and calls the X-Men because he's feeling homesick. The stars then have to go out for a charity gala. This is where the menace of the Age of X-Men starts to seep in. Guests are looking down at the Cuckoo Sisters since they are so close. It seems even familial ties are frowned upon. After the party, Kurt and Megan go off, and Kurt brings Megan home. They get close, and Kurt knows it's wrong, but they kiss and spend the night together. Another very subtle story in this event. The only battle was at the beginning with the movie. This instead focuses, once again, on the fear of intimacy that X-Men has created in this reality. It seems this might be a romantic intrigue series. We'll have to see where they go with it. I was afraid at first because Shannon McGuire wrote one of the worst X-Men stories of last year in an annual, but this was much better so far. I was excited for the art because Juan did it, and we know how good Juans are. But it was just okay. Nothing special, but it did the job. I guess they all can't be superstars. I also like the cover treatment where Nightcrawler gets a Spidey's Amazing tag right down to the font. Overall, this comic was much better than I expected, so it'll get a 7 out of 10. These minis are all very slow starters, so we'll see if they start to go anywhere with the second issues. Then there's Return of Wolverine #5, written by Charles Soule, art by Steve McNiven. Finally, the end to the Return of Wolverine miniseries. Wolverine has gone to Persephone Space Station to deal with her threat. She shows up as a hologram and explains she's made the station to protect the best and brightest from the hell that is Earth. She explains that she started recruiting all the dead heroes and villains to work for her, including Wolverine himself. Somehow, though, his healing factor resurrected him for real and freed him from her control. She offers Logan a place to forget his past on the space station, and he declines. She then tries to kill him with poison gas, and he punches a hole into space. He then breaks back into the station and finds a bunch of nerds. The nerds explain Persephone's plan to kill everyone on Earth with a series of satellites, and then for her to resurrect them all under her power. Logan has the nerds destroy the satellites, but there's one left, the space station they're on. Logan fights his way down to the reactor to destroy the station. He lets different parts of his personality out as needed to battle his way down. He then gets jumped by Persephone's #1 thug, and he's getting beaten, so he lets all his personalities out, and he is whole once again. Well, almost all. He kept his berserker rage caged. He beats the thug and destroys the reactor. The station crashes to Earth and splashes down to the Pacific. Logan survives and is picked up by some fishermen, and all he wants is a beer. First of all, Steve McNiven could draw one badass Logan. The art here was so good that it really pushed the bar for everyone else. The story ended with a bit of monologuing, but at least we get a resolution. The story was simpler than I imagined, with an almost too obvious Persephone resurrected Logan. But I liked the part where this healing factor pushed him over the edge. I guess Charles Soule said that he explained the hot claws were his overdriven healing factor manifesting as heat. But if it was really in here, I guess I missed it. I also like that Persephone is still out there, and with her powers she can make for some very creepy and interesting stories in the future. This series could have been shorter, but I like how Wolverine saved the day in the end, by threatening some nerds, and then clawing a nuclear reactor. Both very Wolverine solutions. Like I said, I like the resolution, and I'll give it an 8. Lastly, we have Uncanny X-Men #12, written by Matthew Rosenberg, art by Salvador Larroca. Scott and Logan are back, and now they have a plan. Wolverine kidnaps a One guard, and tries to break into where they're holding mutants. The plan falls apart immediately, and Wolverine and Cyclops have to fight their way in. They come across some Sentinels that look like they have Warlock tech in them, and after defeating them, they find they're piloted by the Warlock-infected New Mutants, Guido, Danny, Moonstar, and Shan. The group then breaks into the rest of the facility and free more mutants, including a bunch of Multiple Man dupes, and Magic and Wolfsbane. Their shapeshifting abilities freed them from the Warlock's virus mostly, so they weren't piloting the Sentinels. Lastly, they find Havoc, who is being used as a giant battery. He thinks he's dead when he sees his brother, but Cyclops assures him he isn't. As the group tries to escape, the Multiple Man dupes explode. They had bombs implanted in them. Guido absorbs most of the blast and dies. Havoc wants to stay behind to destroy all of one, but Cyclops pulls him through Magic's portal, and they get out of there. The X-Men are back. As the team-building issue goes, this was a doozy. We get to see what happened to the New Mutants from the Dead Souls miniseries. We also get Havoc back from his arrest in X-Men Blue. And we lose Strong Guy. Poor Guido. The art was great, as you'd expect from LaRocca, and the writing matched. I love the interplay between Logan and Scott. They used to hate each other's guts, but now that they're both newly resurrected, they have a more brotherly hate going on. They banter back and forth without just yelling at each other as it's been in the past. I love Logan lamenting the failure of his one plan. Just like in The Return, Logan is a simple man who should stick to what he does best. The new X-Men status quo is fun, and it'll be fun to see who stays on the team. Havoc and Cyclops rarely get to share the same book, so I'd love to see that relationship be explored much more. This was some good X-Menning. 9 out of 10. Uncanny X-Men has been so good, and now with this next phase, I think it might be getting even better. This reminds me of the Morrison era, where Uncanny was doing some interesting things while Morrison was off being nuts in the new X-Men. I like that this isn't your average superhero comic too. The X-Men are outlaws again, and I love it. See you next week.